Well, I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still, back in my normal weekday morning spot here after filling in for Skip on Friday. That's the reason there was no video from me over the weekend. As we go on through this week, vastly different than last week. We've got that tropical air mass trying to get back into our weather pattern here, and it looks like some strong and possibly severe storms will be in the mix as we head on through the day tomorrow. So I am tracking the heat and humidity coming back into our forecast here. Again, tomorrow afternoon and evening hours as a cold front runs into the tropical air mass coming in from the Gulf. That's going to give us the best potential of some strong and possibly severe storms, damaging wind gusts, and also some heavy downpours. Those are going to be the main threats that we're going to be tracking for us here in eastern Carolina from these storms. Meanwhile, the slow progression, but it's definitely by Thursday, we'll start to clear things out with some drier air eventually moving in. Scattered showers, plenty of cloud cover is your Storm Track 12 forecast for the day today. Upper 70s and low 80s is where we're going to top out at. Maybe some storms along the coast as we head overnight tonight. Otherwise, mainly cloudy skies and temperatures, much more muggier into the low to mid 70s. Now, we'll get into the low to mid 80s tomorrow with those gusty southerly winds. But we also have the potential for strong to possibly severe storms from 2 o'clock onward in the afternoon hours. 78, that was all we were able to muster yesterday as far as the top temperature was concerned. 83 is where we should be for this time of year. And in case you're continuing to keep track, wondering where we stand as far as rainfall is concerned, well, we only are generally about a quarter of an inch below normal for the month of September. So the 1 to 2 inches of rainfall we may get tomorrow is definitely going to put us back on the positive side. All right, here's the weather setup that we are tracking. Notice all this surge of moisture coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. We are tracking a warm front coming up over us here in eastern Carolina right now, and that'll put us in the warm sector. But we're not going to be in this air mass for long because we are tracking a cold front. That's what you see from Minneapolis back in towards Helena, and that's what that band of clouds is. And this is a pretty strong cold front for this time of year. You can kind of see the swirl in the atmosphere behind it, as it does have some colder polar air that is bringing with it, and as a result, that is going to give us the chance for some strong to possibly severe storms. Here's what it looks like at the jet stream level, because really this is what we need to look for. We've got this cutoff low down over Texas, the trough digging in across the northern plains, and you'll notice where our wind is coming from here in eastern Carolina, coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. So as a result, we've got the tropical air that's going to be in place, waiting for this pocket of cold air to rotate on through. And as you can see here, future track does show as we go through tonight and into tomorrow, that pocket of cold air comes in through the Ohio Valley. Now, here is what you need to watch, though. Look, even as we go into later tomorrow evening, where's our wind coming from? Still straight out of the Gulf of Mexico. So as a result, that is going to keep us with that chance of the severe storms because of the moisture that's going to be flowing into this storm system. Meanwhile, couple that with this pocket of cold air at the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere rotating in, and we keep this trough pretty much a full latitude trough going from the U.S.-Canadian border all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico in place through the majority of this week. Now, what you will notice is, though, that we kind of still hold on to that southwesterly flow even going into Wednesday, so we're not getting that front completely off the coast. And then another short wave digs down on the backside of this trough as we head on in through Thursday and Friday. Eventually, by then, though, again, still, we've kind of got that southwesterly flow, not bringing that cold air directly in over the mountains. And as a result, we'll get back to only near average as far as temperatures are concerned, meanwhile keeping the real cold air on the other side of the mountains. You'll see how this plays out here with your Storm Track 12 future track. Temperature surge into the low to mid 80s for tomorrow out ahead of that front. Then notice that direct Arctic discharge coming down in through the Ohio Valley, but it really just kind of only knocks us slightly below normal as we go in through the end of this week, with that cooler air basically being bottled up on the western side of the mountains. And as a result, just, again, slight cool down for us the end of this week as we clear out, and then returning back to near normal for temperatures. Future track does show those scattered showers and storms developing through the day today as the warm front lifts across. Southerly winds here, pretty strong, rather gusty south-southeasterly winds as we head through the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. That'll get storms developing along the sea breeze front, and then we'll watch for the main front itself to come in for the afternoon and evening hours with the heavy downpours, especially west of Highway 258. Notice, though, by the time we hit Wednesday, We've got the northerly flow in here, but the problem is, though, that front kind of hanging up along the coast with another wave of low pressure riding along it could give us some showers and thunderstorms in here, especially east of Highway 17. Meanwhile, we continue to track the tropics. We've got Tropical Storm Nadine way out there and starting to become extra tropical right now as it's winding down. Also, another area that we're watching is a tropical wave coming through the Wayward and Leeward Islands right now. We'll have to watch. This potentially could get into the Gulf of Mexico and could have some development late this week going into the weekend, but nothing right now that would be imminent affecting us here in eastern Carolina. So your future track planning forecast does show that showers and thunderstorms will be most numerous as we head through the day tomorrow, and then we'll gradually clear things out as we head on through the second half of this week with that next Canadian refreshing air mass coming in. Have yourself a good Monday. I'm Storm Track 12 meteorologist Les Still.